Hi everybody, Corinne here from Outsiders. I tried to make a video earlier on Facebook, a live video, and I think this video is best if I can just say what I need to say, and if any donors have any questions or potential donors have any questions, please feel free to private message me. I'm not perfect. I am a human being, and this situation that I'm about to talk about has been very stressful, frustrating, and just really consuming our lives at the moment. So sometimes when people make a suggestion that has already been addressed or talked about more than one time, it's a little hard not to get flustered. We've spent a lot of time researching the proper way to fix our pasture fencing and the problem with Ezra escaping. So bringing it to you and wanting to talk with you all about it and ask for your support is the last step in the process. And we don't take that lightly. We want to be good stewards of your hard-earned money and put it to the best use possible for the animals. So when we crunched our numbers and priced everything out and made our decisions on materials, it was because it was going to meet the needs of our animals the best and be the best use of funds and save as much money as possible, especially by doing the labor ourselves. So I made a post a little while ago asking urgently for donations. It's Thursday. The plan to replace our pasture fence was very much still a plan, not a fully launched fundraising campaign. We had hoped to make it later than how we are having to make it now. It's become urgent for us to replace our entire perimeter fence for our cow pasture. Over the last 6 months, our cows have been challenging the fence, specifically our bull, Ezra. We've had Ezra for over 2 years and have not had a problem with the fencing until some neighbors through the woods started keeping cattle, and we believe that he's able to smell the females through the woods and wants to go date. Ezra is not able to be castrated at this time. We've consulted veterinarians, and they've said that because of his size, he's at a very high risk for bleeding out during that procedure. And we feel like if we can accommodate him and his behavior and his needs by fortifying our fence and making it super strong and containing him, that he's okay to live out his life that way. While we were planning all of this, doing our research on the best type of fencing and what would hold him in, what it was really going to cost, and other things we needed to do to the pasture, he has been escaping more and more frequently. Today it escalated to a new level, and it's really hard to talk about because there's a lot of sanctuaries that I admire that will probably see this and probably think that maybe we're irresponsible, but the pasture fence has been a huge learning curve. We paid a professional company to install it. The fence is barely 3 years old, and it's failing miserably, and we've just not been able to get the help we need to fix it before it's been too damaged at this point. We've done a lot of troubleshooting. We've tried electric wire, changing the chargers, soaking the ground rods. We've tried everything but barbed wire along the top of the fence, but now it's pretty useless because of the damage to the fence. The cows have leaned on it so much that the posts are pushed over. The fencing is sagged so low that they can just go under any type of wire along the top. We did purchase 25 cattle panels recently to try to start replacing the fence. This was before we realized that we were really going to have to replace the actual posts themselves and go from metal T-post up to a 5 to 6 inch round post that's 8 feet long. And after Ezra got out today on one of his escapades, he opened a gate to a group of pigs on the property. And so not only was Ezra out, but almost 30 pigs were out. And we're fortunate that our road is private. We don't have high traffic. No one's at risk of being hit by a car. Just the worst part of it is that the animals no longer are on our property at that point and become a nuisance to our neighbors that don't appreciate the work that we do. So unfortunately, when they see our animals out, they think that we just don't care and that we're letting our animals run around. And this is the absolute complete opposite for Dan, myself, and our family and our small group of volunteers. It's kind of been traumatic in a way, just super stressful, always worrying if somebody is out, always wanting to keep everyone safe on the property. And now that Ezra has shown that he's just going to go make a new spot to get out of, it's become more urgent than ever for us to be able to replace that fence. We've consulted a lot of fencing companies. I've spoken with other sanctuaries that, we really admire and run a good, strong organization and have great facilities. And we came up with our fencing plan on the type of fencing we need and what it was going to take to make that project be completed. We even had a fence company come out today to look at the fence in the state that it was in and to see if there was any way to repair the existing wire and maybe just replace the posts like that. But cement wouldn't be used on the posts. The old wire would just be stapled up, which it's not just cosmetic. My concern was that the fence just wouldn't be as secure anymore after being so damaged. I mean, it's very, very low to the ground in some spots where they've just pushed it over so much. So, and then ideally a different type of fence would have been put up originally, but we didn't know. We went by the suggestions of the fence company at the time. And I'm not blaming the fence company or anything. I'm just saying that they might not have had the experience needed to know what it was going to take to keep steers in, but also bulls, like male intact cows, require a super Fort Knox type fence, and we just didn't know that's what we were taking on. Unfortunately, where he came from, we thought, because they had a hard time keeping him in their fence initially, we thought it was because their fence was in bad shape and that our professionally done fence was going to hold him in. I know I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sorry. I want to talk to you all about it and explain what we're going through, but there's just so much information. So with Ezra, the best fence we can give him are the cattle panels that he cannot easily push over, and the posts, the wooden posts that are cemented in the ground, are not going to go anywhere. And when I went on Facebook Live originally, suggestions immediately started coming at me about electric fence and not needing to use cement. And this is just a project we don't want to cut any corners on, but it's also unfortunately left us with needing to come up with almost $5,000 by tomorrow. And we really thought we had more time. We thought Dan putting up cattle panels in the spots that Ezra had damaged was going to be enough until we could fully fund the project. We were trying to think of fun ways to campaign and help people do this with us, because we're going to have a big open house in the fall. So we thought it would be a fun thing we could all do together with you. But now it's just become so urgent. So the fence company wanted $3,000 for the labor of putting the posts in the ground without cement, repairing the existing fence, but then we would still need eventually to put up the cattle panels, run a board on top of the fence to really keep the cows from ever being able to lean on it. And we just really feel like the cemented posts were so important. So when we calculated renting the equipment for us to drill the holes ourselves, to cement the posts in the ground for all the posts, the bags of cement, which is 1 bag per post, the 2x6s to run along the top of the fence, and the fence panels, because we do have some fence panels here that we're going to pull out of other areas that we were going to use for something else, but now we're just kind of pulling all of our resources to fixing this fence. And so we do still need to buy a few on top of that. And that total for us to do it ourselves incomplete, not incomplete, but to do the project and it be completed fully, from start to finish, and not need to do anything later, and for the cows to have the perfect fence that they need to stay in, to stay safe, to not let pigs out, to not bother our neighbors, and to just give us peace of mind, is $4,930, I believe. And we have to come up with it very, very fast. I made the reservation for the skid steer and the auger attachment. That is $600 for the rental of the equipment, the trailer rental, because our trailer is too small to bring that here, and then an additional $100 for the fuel needed to run the equipment and refill it, to get to not be charged for that, after the fact. So that's $700 that we need. I did call Begg's Farm Supply, where we get our food, and they had the best price on the fence posts themselves, but unfortunately, because of our feed balance and just it's a whole different type of part of their business, we cannot charge the fence materials. So we need to come up with $3,430 by tomorrow morning for them to put everything on the trailer and bring it over. And we're doing this so quickly because we need to keep Ezra and Evan and Yona and Judah in, but mostly Ezra and Evan are the two leaving. I don't think Yona and Judah have left. But it's so worrisome, and it's so hard because it's just Dan and I here during the week, and when Ezra and Evan are getting out, it's stressful, it's scary. We don't want him to get hurt. We don't want anyone to get hurt in the process. We don't want him to hurt our neighbor's property, when they're driving in and out on our private road, or when people are walking. It's just super stressful, and it's been scary because it's hard to relax because we're constantly counting how many cows are out in the pasture. And that sucks because we work really hard to take care of all of our animals here and take care of them well. And the timing is just really hard. We've had our vet bill balance is, it'll be $4,000 by next week. So it's just a lot going on and really crappy timing. And it's just such an important project though. And it will be such a relief. So we're really pushing to get all the funding by tomorrow, which is insane because what time is it? It's 4:00, and I'm asking for, barely 12 hours to come up with this money. But we already have $2,000 towards the $3,430 needed for the fencing, and additionally we need the $700 for the equipment rental, and I think it was $806 at Home Depot for the 2 pallets of cement and the 2x6s to run on top. So if there's anything that you can do to help, you can help us by sharing. We have a very, very, very small following, and the more people that know about what we're trying to do and our work with the sanctuary is one more person that may be willing to help us reach our goal. And if you can donate, we would be so grateful. I know there's lots of organizations asking for your support, and we're a needle in the haystack, and it's very competitive, but we're really trying to do right by our animals, and this is a huge thing for us to have to come up with. And it was, I guess some could say retrospectively that it's not out of nowhere, but it is a little bit out of nowhere, because we thought we were working proactively to fix the problem. We just didn't know how much Ezra was going to challenge the fence and how urgent it would become. So if you want, we would prefer you donate via PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo, just because those funds are available immediately. But if you send us a message or an email, I can give you the number to Beggs to call in a donation there. We just ask that you let us know so that we can tell them it's specifically going for the fencing ticket. But I can't have donations called in for the equipment rental, because they have to charge my card specifically for it and hold that for the form of payment. And for Home Depot, if you want to place the Home Depot order, I can give you that information. But yeah, thank you if you made it past this painful 16 and a half minutes. I really appreciate it. And we're always open to suggestions, but sometimes we've truly just been diligent and done our research and talked with people, and this plan is what's perfect for us. And we really hope that you'll see how hard we've worked to come up with the best solution, and that we're really working so hard to make every dollar count and go as far as it can go. So your support in making this happen means that Saturday morning, our volunteers Barbara, Mike, Lori, and Ryan will be here, and they're going to help us get that fence done, taken care of, and it will not be a problem any longer. And Ezra will be safe and contained, and it will be so wonderful because finally people can come and visit the cows at their new fence. It won't be so janky and crazy looking, and it will be safe for everybody. So thank you so much, and please send me a message if you have any questions. I would be happy to talk with anyone curious about our organization, with any questions they may have before supporting us. So thank you.